Hello and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Executive Corner, Expert Talks for Kalkine TV. I'm your host, Holly. This is the show where we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners and market experts all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market. On today's show, we're joined by Mikel Lindsaar, CEO and founder of Reinteractive, Australia's largest dedicated Ruby on Rails development company. Welcome to the show, Mikel. It's a pleasure meeting with you.
Thank you very much for having me, and Michael, by the way, but it's totally fine. It's a common mistake. I get it all the time.
Apologies. Great to have you here, Michael.
Thank you. Great to be on the show.
Now, Reinteractive primarily uses the Ruby on Rails application development framework. What would you say are the benefits of this?
Ruby on Rails is really interesting. I think we've developed probably 200 or 300 web applications over those years, and the primary benefit of Ruby on Rails really is that it's based on the programming language called Ruby, and Ruby is the only programming language in the world that is optimized only for developer happiness. So if you have happy developers, you have less bugs, and they're going to write more code and be more productive and be more excited about it. And that's really the reason why I founded the whole company, to work on Ruby on Rails and use Ruby as its core language. So that was the core reason, and it's worked out really well since then.
What exactly do you mean by optimizing happiness? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's an interesting datum. Like a lot of languages out there, you might have heard of .NET or C or Python, like it's JavaScript. There's all these different languages out there. And the founder of Ruby, his name's Yukihiro Matsumoto. I hope I didn't completely clobber his name. He was a developer in other languages, and he just wanted a language that he would really enjoy writing. And a lot of computer languages are optimized for the computer to correctly understand or see and how it works. But Ruby, over the past decade or so, has created a situation where the language is very expressive. So when a developer wants to write something, they just go ahead and write it in almost English, and the computer does what you expect it to do. There's not a lot of artificial, symbols and strange logic and lots of parentheses around everything, and it's just very easy to read. And in fact, I could give you a Ruby program and you could probably look at it and tell me what it does. And because of that sort of functionality, it means that the developers just really enjoy writing in it. And we found that to be a very major increase in productivity for them.
Sounds like it's very human-friendly.
Very, very human-friendly. I mean, you have to know what you're doing, obviously, but right. It's built that way so that our developers love it. I actually had one developer who left the company to go work at an opportunity in America, and she came back, and she was working in another language, and when she came back, she actually wrote in our company-wide channel, thank you, back to Ruby. Like, it was a relief for them. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Right. And could you maybe shed some light on the various services Reinteractive offers?
Yeah, of course. So we're a full-service web application development organization. So what that means is we do everything from the ideation and workshops and figuring out what you want to build, all the way through to scoping it, building the whole application, getting it launched, getting it live, and then maintaining it afterwards. So I built the company to make sure that business owners, founders, large and small businesses, I mean, we have a huge range of clients, all the way from, top enterprise companies all the way down to single person startups. And we take that whole journey for the customer from start to finish. And we've been doing that now for almost 10 years, a decade, actually over a decade now. Wow, it is 2021. And it's been an interesting journey. So yeah, full service. What do we make? Sort of like, think customer portals or business web applications or things that you need customers to log into and do stuff, online systems, all that sort of thing.
Okay, so definitely there's quite a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've found it's actually been an interesting challenge as a business in locating our customers, because our customers can pretty much be anyone. It could be the head of your company wanting to build a whole new interface for their clients to be able to log in. Or another thing we do a lot of is building custom applications that log into Salesforce and pull data out of that for you and make that available. So membership systems, sign-up systems, all this sort of thing. It's a very wide-ranging definitely not boring business to be in.
Right, so it sounds like you offer very full-scale services there.
Yeah, that's right. When a client engages with us to build their web application, usually they're a little bit overwhelmed by choice. There's so many options out there, and it can be a little bit impossible to make a sane decision about what you want to do. So we take the approach that if the client comes into us and they want to work with us, we can take control of that cycle and carry it all the way through to the end, making sure that they're making the right decisions at the right time to actually get the product that they need within the budget that they have available, which can be a challenge sometimes, but that's what we do, and that's our job.
Right. And we know that software development can be a lengthy and expensive process. Do you have any do's and don'ts when it comes to undertaking a software development project?
Definitely. I think, well, first off, I've actually written a whole process around this called the Axioms of Software Development. So I have a blog post series on that you can get on our website, reinteractive.com. But the key things I think for a business owner when they're wanting to start a development is focus on the important aspects of sticking to your knitting. So if you are trying to innovate out of wherever you are in your organization, or you're trying to renew yourself or change, and you think a piece of web software can help you with that, it'd be really important to make sure that you really understand the area in which you're building that application. Don't try and learn a whole new thing at the same time as launching a project, if that makes sense. You really want to utilize that domain knowledge you have around whatever it is you're building, and then get us or any reputable development firm in to help you actually go ahead and build that thing, so that you can provide the knowledge of what it should do, and the developers can provide the knowledge of how it does it. And that's probably my number one tip. The second one would be going out and getting a mock-up done of what you're planning to build. And this is probably the easily most important of the lot, is go and build a prototype of what you're trying to do, and then go out to market and find some customers who are willing to say, yes, I will buy that from you. And customers don't include your mother, I'm sorry. So you're going to get out there and you have to find people that you don't know, who are not your friends, and tell them that you're going to build this, and if you did build it, would they buy it? If they say yes, then you've got a good chance of actually turning it into a viable product. So those are the two sort of key fundamentals to begin with. We help clients get over those two hurdles, and we won't actually take on a client unless they've done both of those points in some capacity, to make sure that the project's going to be a success.
Right. So the mock-up provides a sort of blueprint, would you say, of the product?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot like building a house, right? The first thing you'd want to do is you'd want to get someone to come and sketch it out, right? You're not going to go and pay an architect $50,000 to build the exact blueprints of something when you don't even have any idea of what it's going to look like, right? So you'd get someone out, sketch it out, pay them a fee to do that, get it looking good. And then once it's all sketched out, then you go and pay the architect all the money to build it. And in software development, a lot of people think that the software development people are like the bricklayers and the people putting up the walls and doing all that. Actually, the software developers are the ones who do the blueprints. So the software developers are the architects of the software, and then it's actually the computers that do all the building. So it's a whole discovery process, just like you'd have a discovery process with an architect. Hey, I wanted that room, but the wall's in the wrong space, because if we have it there, the light won't shine through, and blah, blah, blah. Can you move the door to the left of the room, or whatever? That sort of thing is a natural progression in software development and can catch people out. They think that, well, I know what I want to build, and then why isn't it just a fixed cost? Well, there is that whole discovery process, and that is very important and a major part of what we do.
That is definitely a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a confusing analogy sometimes, because I've had a lot of customers at different points going, wow, I had no idea how involved the development process is. There's many, many hours involved, which is another sort of tip. Don't go into building a mobile app or a web-based application without realizing that this is going to consume a large part of your life. Building these applications is a big undertaking, and just like you wouldn't go ahead and try and build a house for hundreds of thousands of dollars, don't do the same thing with software. You go into it with a clear purpose and intent, with defined goals, and get it done.
Definitely. And speaking of customers, you've worked with over 140 clients.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
That's quite a lot. What would you say is your edge over competitors?
Oh, am I allowed to say this? I mean, then they'll know what. No, it's the axioms of software development. I mean, really, I've spent more than 3 decades working on software. I've written software that's been downloaded about 250 million times, and in fact, most of your customers use my software. They just don't know it. If they've ever received an email from LinkedIn or Twitter or many different platforms, we've helped build that. But the key is this axioms of software development, and the number one thing in that is that desired features will always exceed available budget. And this is true of any software build. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're Facebook. It doesn't matter if you're Google. The number of features that you want to put in the application will always be more than the money you have to do it. And we take that very seriously at Reinteractive. So we actually work with the client to make sure that we reduce that feature set down to what's actually going to work and make them money. How can we get this product to a point where it will actually start delivering value now instead of, in 2 or 3 years' time? And that's called a minimum viable product that some of your viewers may have heard of before. But that's how we get around that problem of, the money will never be enough. Doesn't matter what you want to build. You don't have enough money to build every feature that you want. So it's a matter of selecting the features you want. And again, back to the house analogy, you will always be making compromises if you build a house. You want gold-plated doorknobs. Well, maybe you can't. So that's our key difference, the communication and just making sure they're on the right track.
Right. It seems like you help clients to achieve more realistic outcomes.
Yeah, that is a goal of the company. We definitely don't want to get in there, and do something and walk away. We're a full service agency. Some of our clients have been with us for a decade, and we still maintain their applications after all of that time, after building them from scratch. That's the sort of client that we're after and we look after. And, our client base is very, very strong. We have, very long-term clients and large clients and small clients, and that's how we do it. But I think the number one thing that our clients say about us that they feel is different from every other development company they've worked with is the level of communication that we have with our clients. We are always communicating, daily stand-ups. They talk with our developers. The other probably key difference is we don't do fixed price contracts. And what that means is that we can have our developers working with our clients full-time and dedicated. So they're not split across, 20 different projects. They're there really getting to know the application and getting it done.
Right. So would you say that Reinteractive's client base is very loyal? That's what it sounds like.
Reinteractive's client, yeah, totally. We don't lose many customers. I mean, we'll get in there and get the job done. There are different types of clients, obviously, ones that just need our help for a short time and we'll get there and do the job. But most of our clients, a large percentage are repeat. People are just coming back and they want more, and we help them achieve version 1, and now we're going off to achieve version 2, and in the meantime we've been looking after them. I think, as a business owner, there's 2 key things that you want to achieve with a customer. The first one is a level of trust that you're going to deliver what you promise, and if you can't deliver what you promise for whatever reason, you need to pull out every stop and just get that delivered, and that builds trust. And if you can get that trust across, then you're going to make it big time, because clients will be able to trust you and they'll come back and they'll recommend you to other people and they'll say they had a bad experience. And on the odd occasion when something does go wrong, they can trust you to fix it, and they won't just disappear and go to the competition. So we've been working on that for a long time.
Right. That sounds, yes, very important for you. Is there anything on the horizon at the moment for Reinteractive?
Yeah, I mean, we've just been growing massively. I mean, one of the problems with our company is I can't actually talk about any of the work we do because it's, we're all under NDAs, and all the things that we're building is, it's pretty exciting. But we've just recently helped launch some pretty large, the Australian Packaging Organisation has just launched a major site, and we've been looking after them and getting that all integrated with Salesforce. And we've been doing a lot of Salesforce-based integrations. This is actually a very large growth area for us. So if any of your viewers have used Salesforce, they know that it's got a lot of data in it. And sometimes you need to get that data out of Salesforce into, say, a mobile app or a website where your customers might be signing up or giving you more information about them or interacting with your business in some way. So we've rapidly become pretty much Australia's largest developer around that sort of custom web application development hooked into Salesforce. So that's a major growth area for us, and that's going really, really well.
That sounds very promising, actually.
Yeah, Salesforce is a big partner, and it's been a interesting journey. And again, it's also been a journey of trust. And I think this is, we focus on delivering a valuable product to our clients that they love. And the more that we deliver that product, the more the clients love us. And it's been a journey to get to a point where we start getting recommended from an organization as large as Salesforce, because of course they need to do their due diligence. And it's been just a continuous journey of delivering, making sure that we don't have any upset customers, maybe upset for a day or two if something's gone wrong, but we fix it, we make sure they're happy, and we get them across the line and resolved. And this is, for a business owner, it's probably the hardest challenge, but I think it's the most important, building that trust in the industry and just becoming known as the organization that's going to get the job done.
Right. That also actually sounds quite rewarding, I would say.
Yeah, it is. You get clients calling you saying thank you, and with our case studies page, it's really quite amazing the number of Reinteractive did this, and we've never worked with an organization like Reinteractive, and Reinteractive was a breath of fresh air, and we constantly get this sort of feedback from our organization clients. And I guess when I started Reinteractive, just like when the founder of Ruby created the Ruby to make it good for developers, I actually built Reinteractive as the company that I would want to work for if I was looking for a job. So, I have happy staff, we have engaged staff, we have happy clients, we have engaged clients, and that just resolves in a situation where you've just got expansion. Everyone's going in the same direction, they're on the same page, they're enjoying their work, they're enjoying helping customers, they're enjoying solving big technical challenges and just moving along.
That is great to hear. Well, on that note, it is just about time to wrap up, but might I say your insights have been invaluable. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
And thanks for tuning in. Viewers, stay tuned for more live market updates. And as we say here, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.